What's going on, hunters? Dom from the Game Looters here, and today, my friends, the reviews have dropped for Monster Hunter Wilds, and they are interesting. If you're not familiar, in this series, what we do is we go into the reviews when they drop for certain games. We look at the Metacritic, where it's sitting. We read the best, the middle, and the worst reviews, and I give you some anecdotes if I've played the game. Now, thankfully, with Monster Hunter Wilds, I have about 20 hours in the beta across the different weekends that it had launched, so I have a really good grasp on Monster Hunter Wilds. I've put a lot of time into it already, and I'm ready for the launch day coming in just a couple of days. So I have a lot of opinions about Monster Hunter Wilds, and I will interject them as we look through the reviews. Now, how it works, my friends, is we're going to head right over here to Metacritic, and you're going to see that the Monster Hunter Wilds review is currently sitting at an 89. Now, just depending how you look at it, that is an 89% out of 100. That is an 8.9 out of 10. That's a pretty damn good rating. So I find that extremely interesting. Now, the thing I find interesting is if we go into the actual critic reviews, is there's some reviews that are not favorable at all, which is really surprising because Monster Hunter Wilds really is more Monster Hunter World, more Monster Hunter Rise, and it kind of learned from the things that they did really well in those two latest entries, and it puts it here: new areas, new weapons, new ways, new secrets, new things, new ways to get your armor, new missions. So it's gonna be interesting to see on what people did not like. Because personally, right now, I'm about a 9, probably about 9 out of 10 right now, just based on the beta alone. And I know the game is not going to disappoint once it actually fully releases. So, with that being said, my friends, we're going to do the different reviews. Again, it's sitting right now at an 89. We're going to look at the best, the middle, and the worst. So I think for this one, I kind of want to start off with the worst reviews. So we're going to start off with the worst reviews today. I've got to know. It's gnawing at me. I got to know what the worst reviews for Monster Hunter Wilds is currently sitting at. So right now we have two. One comes from Game Cult. One comes from Game Cult, and the other comes from... I don't know what just happened there. One comes from Game Cult and the other one from Hardcore Gamer. Let's just read through both of them really fast. So for Game Cult, they put here is the problem when reviewing a game of this scale, part of a series with more than 10 entries, is that personal attachment and nostalgia inevitably play a crucial role. It's clear that It's clear that the franchise no longer offers the same experience it did years ago. The rough, unwelcoming, and flamboyant feel of the past has given way to an unwavering accessibility, a clear pursuit of simplicity, and a deliberate openness to newcomers. While the game's addictive foundation are still present, they are nonetheless hindered by an at times excessive simplification of its mechanics. Terrible sentence writing. However, Monster Hunter Wilds remains a thrilling experience even for veterans, provided they accept it is no longer the game they once knew. So their problem is that the game isn't as hard as it was years ago. The rough, unwelcoming, and flamboyant feel of the past has given way to unwavering accessibility. So because they're trying to make it more accessible for folks that are brand new to the series, right? Like, long gone are the days where this is the niche game on the PS2 or the PSP. So because of that, they don't like that they're trying to simplify it, and they're trying to make it easier for newcomers with, a lot of tutorials and getting into the games, man, that's a hard one to swallow because at the end of the day, as you guys all know, Monster Hunter is very much about endgame, right? Like, it's very much about what happens after the core story finishes. That's when you get the harder monsters, the bigger bosses, the cooler events. It's really all about endgame, and I think most veterans, as they kind of quote-unquote say, are living for the endgame, kind of what happens after the fact, but they want to have a really good, cool, new experience leading up to that. Okay. It sounds like maybe they just assigned the wrong person to review the game, to be honest. All right, Hardcore Gamer. This one says, Monster Hunter Wilds is a fun experience. It has all the staples that make the series so enjoyable. Unfortunately, some choices make it hard to enjoy yourself for a significant amount of time while making way to the portion of the game that you're trying to experience. That doesn't sound bad at all. Let's see if they have like a conclusion over here. Monster Hunter Wilds is a fun experience. It has all the staples, blah, 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 blah. We read through all of that. But ends up getting in the way of fighting monsters at a reliable pace, forcing you from point A to B frequently before allowing you to engage with these newly added monsters. The focus mode for aiming your strikes feels odd at first, but after some time, it's something that you get used to. The secret mount like a good idea in general, but they end up delivering an odd experience even after learning the quirks of how they work that can be frustrating to use. Despite these issues, Monster Hunter Wilds is still a fun and challenging experience for fans of the series and newcomers looking to dive into it once they get past the learning curve. So this was a 7 out of 10. It's, you know, I will tell you guys this. I do believe I'm not a big fan of the secrets so far. I think that in Monster Hunter Rise, I think they nailed the addition of a new thing with the Palamutes. I feel like the Palamutes were really cool ride components. I thought they were really cool that they help you in battle. I like the different ways you can equip them, and I like the way that they worked with your Palicos. I'm not a big fan of the secrets so far. They kind of just stand around and they're just used as a ride mechanic. They are cool because they can fly, they can climb. They're cool in theory, but I think they really nailed it with the Palamutes, and I really would have loved to see the Palamutes come back. So I don't completely disagree with that take, but it sounds like they liked the game. It sounds like maybe they just didn't have a really good curated experience for themselves. All right, let's go to the middle, guys. We're gonna go now. These are the middle reviews. These are the ones that are like right in the middle of the road. You throw something, it's right in the middle. These are gonna be about the 8 or 8.5 out of 10. These are still, that means it's still a really good game. We'll read through a couple of these. Games Radar. We know Games Radar. If you guys see it on YouTube, I'm sure it pops up for you all the time. They put here, with the best combat and narrative in a 20-year series of action RPGs, Monster Hunter Wilds is a new peak of Monster Hunter, only further enlivened by a colorful cast of monsters that defies longtime design conventions. So they really liked it. Let's look for another one here. Let's see if there's anyone else that we kind of recognize. I tend to try and like to pick something that is that I know, and there doesn't seem to be one. So we'll read this one. Games RD. Games RD, I never heard of them before, but they put here, Monster Hunter Wilds combines the best elements of World and Rise, enhancing gameplay with the new mechanics and a more dynamic world. The interaction with the environment, the variety of monsters, and the expanded combat tools creates a more immersive experience. While some graphical details could be improved, it remains a solid entry that fans will enjoy. Okay, so it seems like they really loved it. It just seems like maybe like the graphics wasn't up to snuff for them, which, hey, you know, that is all, that's all opinionated. That's all depending on how you look at it. I thought it looks like the next evolution of Monster Hunter World, Monster Hunter Rise for me. But I mean, hey, that's super, I mean, that's how you feel, right? So that just is what it is. All right, let's look at 100s. These are the perfect scores. Now we're looking at the perfect scores, the best scores, the 100s, the 10 out of 10s. Let's see. This one's from VGC. VGC puts here, let's just go over to the website. That's like a one little sentence thing. Let's see if we can get like the end of their thing here. Monster Hunter Wilds is confident, bold, and one of the best Monster Hunter games ever. Wow. Thanks to its ability to stand on the giant shoulders of worlds and improve it in virtually every way. Monster Hunter Wilds has never felt better to play. Giant monster battles are a visual treat. A plethora of new monsters that will become fan favorites. Streamlined menus and HUDs mean Monster Hunter has never felt more frictionless. Grouping up with friends can be clumsy. Yeah, for some reason, Capcom really struggles at getting you with friends. Even in the beta, like, you know, me and my wife were playing, right? That's my dynamic. We play together. I had to invite her to my little friend group, and she was in it, but she wasn't in my camp or in like in my hub. So then I had to have her type in my hub code manually to see her in my hub, and then she would post a quest. It's always really clunky, but it was also really clunky with Rise, and it was also really clunky with World. They just never quite nail it. I'm not really sure why. Let's look at one more 100 score. Silicon Era. Okay, I recognize them. I try to go with sites that I recognize. Silicon Era gave them a 100 as well. They give them a perfect score. So let's see what they say here. The unbridled force of nature runs wild and relentless. With environments transforming drastically from one moment to the next. This is the story of monsters and humans. That's not the end of it. Okay. They don't really have a conclusion here, do they? Okay, let's just go back to here. So Monster Hunter Wilds is a joy to play. Okay, let's just skip them. Let's look at this one. Miu PlayStation. This will be the last one to wrap it up. Impressive and gigantic, Monster Hunter Wilds is a perfect combination of feedback from World and Rise. The vast amount of content feels almost small compared to the narrative-focused cinematic approach. Epic battles and the scale so grand it makes previous games feel nearly insignificant. A must-play for veterans and the best possible entry point for anyone looking to dive into the series. See, these guys here, what they're saying is this is a perfect entry point for all you newcomers. Unlike the other guys who are like, I can't believe I can't believe you want new players in my game. All right, my friends, that is it. You know, I mostly agree. I think this is going to be a bombastic entry. I think that they are nailing it with a lot of different monsters, a lot of new monsters. I think they're nailing it once again with the different weapons. I really love that you're able to equip 2 weapons. I myself am rocking a charge blade. I'm rocking a charge blade, and I am rocking a bow this time for the first time. Typically, I would do like hunting horn or hammer. So for me, you know, or dual blades, you know, or the insect glaive. So for me, you know, being able to rock something like that, I think is just really, really cool. So yeah, I really love it. I can't wait to play more Monster Hunter Wilds and maybe even create more content for Monster Hunter Wilds here on the channel as it releases this coming Friday or February the 28th. My friends, I'm going to see you guys in the hub. Let me know your guys' thoughts on all of these reviews here in the comments. But right now, 89 is where it stands for Monster Hunter Wilds, which is a fantastic entry in the series. I've been Dom from the Game Looters and can't wait to hunt with you guys in the future. Peace out, my friends.